Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Santa Cruz County School Superintendent's Office Educational Forum. We are blessed today to have our Santa Cruz County School Superintendent Alfredo Velasquez with us today, and some really special guests. It's been a really interesting week, and it's been really neat in the fact that we can continue to offer these opportunities to shed the light on the wonderful things that are happening in our community. And so before we begin, I'd like to pass it over to Mr. Velasquez. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Chris. Thank you so much for introducing me, and thank you for getting us all on board for this next educational forum. I have two special guests that I'm truly honored to have on our educational forum this morning. We have Ms. Sabrina Hallman and Mr. Daniel Arana from the Santa Cruz Community Foundation. I asked them to be our guest because several years ago, I had the opportunity to walk into one awesome meeting that changed my life and made me realize what a great organization was in place in Santa Cruz County, and the fabulous and great work they were doing to provide funding for many of our organizations throughout the county. And so I had at the time, Miss Sabrina Hallman was the current president, and Daniel was a board member. Now Daniel is our current president, and Ms. Hallman is our secretary. But I want to thank you both and the board for everything that you do in this county. You know, it was an eye opener, and I know that Sabrina, you took on this project and you led it. And I know there was some times that were overwhelming, but look at where you're at right now, and look at what you've done to provide so many opportunities for many organizations throughout the county. Daniel, you being part of this, I remember you, Daniel. I hate to say this because it's going to talk about my age, but you were just in elementary school with me when I got to meet you, and to see you be part of this organization and also making a difference in our county. I thank you for that. You know, it's important that someone your age is a role model for a lot of our younger generation to give back to our community. And I think it's important that a lot of our young people see the position you're in and what you're doing out there through the Santa Cruz Community Foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you both a little bit about the Santa Cruz Community Foundation. But before we do that, why don't you each introduce yourself and give us a little bit of your background? Thank you.
So Sabrina, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I can. Good morning, everybody. I am Sabrina Hallman, and I work at Sierra Seed Company on Grand Avenue in Nogales. So frequently you should drive by. I'm a second generation farm seed person there, following in my father's footsteps. And I really started following in my father's footsteps as he was one of the founders of the Santa Cruz Community Foundation Board in 2000. And I am honored to be able to continue that legacy and work with the Santa Cruz Community Foundation and the entire county as we work to help all the community service organizations and nonprofits provide services to the fantastic people and populations that are in the area that we all know and love. So that's who I am.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sabrina. Danielle, what about you?
My name is Daniel Arana. I work at Fenimore Craig law offices in Nogales, Mariposa, above Chase Bank. And I was, as Alfredo mentioned, I'm a native of Nogales, grew up here and went to school here and for college and graduate school. And now I've been back in Nogales for 10 years, working in the community I grew up in, raising my kids in this community, My wife and I have 3 kids, and we love having them here in Nogales and in just the community where I grew up in. And it really has been an honor to be part of the Community Foundation and the things that the Community Foundation does in our community. Even Alfredo mentioned it's very eye-opening to see what not only the Santa Cruz Community Foundation, but also the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona, which is based in Tucson, does for the community here and the nonprofit community. It's really amazing, and it's an honor to be a part of that.
Wonderful. And this is an education. This is for education. So Danielle, just to make sure, so you said you went to school local. So did you go to the U of A?
Yeah, so in Nogales, I went to Coronado Elementary School. That's where I met Alfredo when I was a young kid.
And you're still breathing. I love it.
And I'm still here. And then I went to Desert Shadows Middle School, Nogales High School, and then was at the U of A for undergrad and law school.
Perfect. And Sabrina, where'd you go to school here in Nogales?
I'm sorry, I did not actually go to school in Nogales, but I did graduate from the University of Arizona, and I have lived in the Santa Cruz Valley area for the past 25 years.
Wonderful.
And Sabrina, what was your prior career?
Oh, that's right, Alfredo. I was a school principal. So I am a longtime educator. I was a special ed teacher, special ed administrator, and a school principal before I made the move to Sierra Seed to help and assist my father at his business, and have been at Sierra Seed for 15 years now.
Wow. So what I'd like to do is, Sabrina, since you've been past president and you have been in the foundation for so long, I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about the history of the foundation, and then Danielle, we'll turn to you and ask you a little bit about what's going on right now and what we're looking at in the future. So Sabrina, could you tell us a little bit more about the history of the foundation, why it got started, and some of the things that the foundation has done in the past?
I can. As I mentioned, my father was one of the founders. The Bracker family was instrumental, the Coreys, a lot of those longtime community member families that people in the area know, decided that it was important that we give back. We have been blessed and fortunate to work in the Santa Cruz Valley area. It has been very good to very many of our families. And this group of community citizens said, we need to form an organization that really works on returning to the community what we have prospered from. So in early 2000, with the help of the Community Foundation of Southern Arizona, the Santa Cruz Community Foundation was formed. It has been in existence up and down. We've had our trials and tribulations. And many people will remember the old folklorico events that, to date, I will still say are some of the best parties ever held in Santa Cruz County. They were absolutely lovely fundraising events. Unfortunately, times have changed and we've taken different directions. But our goal is always to raise money and be able to grant back, not loan back, but grant back to community organizations such as Circles of Peace, the Tubac Center for the Arts, the Nogales Senior Center, the Patagonia Senior Center, St. Andrew's Preschool. The list just goes on and on. Lutheran Social Services. Anybody who really is working to help our community prosper and grow. And our goal of the Santa Cruz Community Foundation is truly to raise funds to give back. So when we come calling and knocking on your door, be aware that it's really neighbors helping neighbors. And that's who we are and what we do.
Thank you, Sabrina. Greatly appreciate that. Daniel, you as the incoming president, what is your vision? What's your plan, and what's been accomplished during your presidency?
Well, like Sabrina mentioned, our goal is to help the nonprofit community in Santa Cruz County. And it's really been, we all know that the environment with COVID has changed the way that all organizations do things. But one thing that COVID has not prevented is just the support for the local nonprofit community in Santa Cruz County. Over the last few years, the Santa Cruz County Community Foundation does an annual grant round, right? So nonprofits have the opportunity to apply for grants to support programs or for general operating support. Typically, that has been $40,000 every year that we do in our grant rounds. We've also done annual scholarships to the schools in Santa Cruz County. And we've also had, especially for this year, COVID relief funds. That has been done through the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona. But that over the last year has brought in over $200,000 for nonprofits here in Santa Cruz County, which is just amazing. It's huge. It's helped them so much in being able to provide the essential services that they offer to members of the community. And we're just so happy to be able to be a part of that. We're very grateful for the donors that make that possible. And I also want to mention just the team at the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona, because they really care about Santa Cruz County, and it shows just by everything that they do here, the funds that they help bring here, and that's just something that will continue to happen in the future. Hopefully, we'll be able to have our fundraising events once COVID is not an issue as much anymore, and be able to do awards for civic leaders in our community. It's another thing that we're looking forward to doing. But just like I said, if even though there have been many changes for COVID, I feel like through the Community Foundation, we've been able to help support the local nonprofit community, and look forward to continuing to do that going forward.
And I'm going to pipe in because Mark Montoya at the Community Foundation also has roots in Nogales. And I think that's key for us in keeping Santa Cruz County as an important part of the Community Foundation of Southern Arizona. Mark attended Carpenter Middle School, I believe, and I know his father was a science teacher in the local school areas. And Mark has a fondness and a love as well for the Santa Cruz County and our community. And once people are a part of the Nogales, Santa Cruz Valley, Tubac, Patagonia community, you can leave, but it never leaves you. And we found that support with Mark.
Very well said. I agree with you. He's passionate about what he does. And if you could mention the other board members, that would be nice to acknowledge them right now. Could you go ahead and do that, please, Sabrina or Daniel?
Oh, Daniel, I'm going to, Jim Weldon, who used to be at Mariposa Community Health, sits on our board. Pierre Baffert, that is well known and all around Nogales. Oh gosh, help me here, Daniel. No.
Yeah.
Cecilia Corey
yes.
was.
Claudia,
Yes.
I believe.
Claudia, right.
Claudia Wise, we have Manuel Coppola, Sabrina, Tom Morgan is
TJ.
also on there. Claudia, Chris is also on the board. and Maida Zuniga is the latest
Very
addition
new.
to our board.
Well, that's a great board, and I know that there was former board members that you did mention, and also, played a critical role as you started to get this foundation back out in the community. And so, I had the opportunity, like I said, to witness firsthand some of these grant visits, and I remember one of them at the Carondelet Hospital, which was working with Alzheimer's. That was one of your projects that you funded. You funded the Girl Scouts that were working with a juvenile detention center. That was just, I was just flabbergasted with that. I just thought, wow, what an opportunity for them to give back and to learn also from what we have in our juvenile detention. You also worked with, and correct me here, Daniel and Sabrina, there was a project that was trying to get off at the Nogales Fire Department about 911 calls or something like that. And they were trying to get this project off the ground. Wasn't it about making calls, how to alleviate the calling and all that? Remember that many years ago?
Right. It really was a program where the Nogales Fire Department was frequently responding to calls from elderly people that were maybe not emergency calls so much as some basic needs calls, and they didn't know who else to call. And so we worked funding the fire department to help train and educate other members of the community. And so there was an alternative for those seniors to call when they needed help with some basic needs, but not necessarily a 911 emergency. Yes, that was one of our projects. Oh, probably 10 years ago, maybe.
Yes. And, I also, I know that you supported a lot of the educational requests as well. And as I sat there as a board member, I saw how you really supported our educational communities, like you said, through scholarships. But, I want to talk about something that happened early on during the pandemic. And we finally got more of the computers, laptops. So I want to talk about that. And that is, we did a project. We wanted to do something for our educational communities as the pandemic started, and I reached out to Sabrina and the Community Foundation, and I talked to her about this project I wanted to kick off. And of course, never say no to anything. She came on board, and she called it "Let's Make a Difference" campaign, and we raised quite a bit of money to help our local educational communities. And so right now we've just got a new shipment of Chromebooks
Awesome.
from that. So we'll be, it took us some time to get the Chromebooks because of the backup orders that they had. So there's going to be a big ad being placed in the newspaper with the superintendents, and none of this would have been possible if it would have been you calling people and networking out there. Daniel, again, your support was critical, and I know that the Nogales Rotary Club also played a critical role in this project in helping us be our 501c3. But I want to thank you personally for when I called you and I said, I need this help, you came on board and helped me out. I also go ahead.
I will tell you, Alfredo, it is the Santa Cruz Valley community that makes that happen. And you know it. You called somebody you knew. I contacted people I knew. And I know that within 24 hours, we had found $8,000 in the community that were going directly to buy Chromebooks and notebooks for students who were now all remote learning,
right.
And to get them in rural homes and families across Santa Cruz Valley. It took our community to do that. So the reason we work is because our community works together.
And I agree with you. I have, there isn't a person in this community that you won't turn to and ask them for their support. And they're right there telling you what do you need to help you with our students or educational communities. And I don't want to call out names right now because that list is going to be in the newspaper, but I definitely want to thank everyone who donated to this campaign and made a difference for our educational communities. Uh, I also know that you've been a great supporter of one of the big events that we have every year to highlight and honor the great work our educators provide for our students in Santa Cruz County. And I want to thank you for your sponsorship of the Teacher of the Year program. And that means a great deal to us and to the community because it speaks volumes of how much we value our teachers. And not because I'm in education or I have, you all sitting here. We have a great educational system in Santa Cruz County. Our teachers are totally committed, as well as our administrators and leaders, and our families and students, also support our educational communities. But most importantly, the county, our residents, are there, whether it's the produce people or whether it's people in retail or it's people in that have certain organizations. You talk about asking for support and they're there 100%. And this is important. And I know that, you continue to make a difference. And I thank you for doing that and taking this foundation to a whole different level. When I first started, I was part of the foundation in a whole different aspect of it. And then, your leadership took it to a whole different dimension and really focused on the need of our community and our county. And I think we all agree, all four of us sitting here, that our nonprofit organizations couldn't have done it without your support. So I thank you both for what you do. And I thank the board of directors. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of such a fascinating and interesting organization that, I would walk in there and advocate, or I would make and you were, all of us were allowed to discuss our opinions about what was going on in our community and where we needed to go with the funding. And that's what made it a great organization or foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Velasquez. So we're about out of time. So just, if I were a nonprofit and I wanted to look to get grants from the Santa Cruz Community Foundation, what's the route? Where do I find the information? Where do I find the application? What is that process?
I can start, or Daniel, you can go. It's always, anytime there's a new grant round, there's an ad in the newspaper. The Nogales International will have a PSA talking about new grant rounds. If you are a nonprofit that has received any grant funding from Santa Cruz Community Foundation previously, you're on the email listserv and you will receive notification. And the Santa Cruz Community Foundation is an affiliate of the Community Foundation of Southern Arizona. You may go to their website and click on Santa Cruz Community Foundation, or even just reach out to the Community Foundation of Southern Arizona, because they also have grant opportunities that might fit your arts organization, or it might fit your preschool program different than some of the funding that we have available.
Okay.
And we do have a local P.O. box.
There we go. And We Love Nogales is going to be putting some of that information during the interview. I'm sure they already have. And so the next question, and maybe equally important, is if I don't know what to do with my stimulus check, maybe I have something laying around and I wanted to help support the Santa Cruz Community Foundation, who could I contact or how could I get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, well, like Sabrina mentioned, a lot of that information is on the webpage, and hopefully the link will be posted. But the cfsa.org, and then there's a link to the Santa Cruz County Community Foundation page for that. People can donate online. There's also the contact information there for Mark Montoya and Kelly Huber, who are both individuals that have helped the community and the board down here great amounts. So their contact information is on there. And you can also get in touch with anybody who's on the board, and we can help you to get your money into the community foundation and out to help the nonprofits, which is everything that it goes for. You know, our board is all voluntary. We do not have people who are paid, so it's all voluntary, and it all goes back into the community.
I would say you could reach out to Daniel at Fenimore Craig. You could reach out to me at Sierra Seed Company. Again, Manny Coppola at Nogales International. If you find us, we will help you help our community.
Right.
And our
forum.
Yeah. And our PO, we do have a PO box locally. Santa Cruz Community Foundation, PO Box 6059, Nogales, Arizona 85628.
Perfect.
So Daniel and Sabrina, I want to thank you for joining us on this educational forum this morning. I also, again, want to thank you for your commitment and dedication to our county and our nonprofit organizations, and also to your commitment to our education here in Santa Cruz County. You know, we are celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week this week. And so I think it was appropriate to have you guys on board, because you make such a difference out there. And on behalf of everyone here in Santa Cruz County, we thank you for what you do in the board as well. I also want you to thank Mr. Montoya on behalf of our educational communities for always being there as an advocate for education as well, and our county, period. So thank you. Have a great day, and I look forward to stopping by at one of your meetings or doing a virtual Zoom meeting with you guys again.
We'll look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.